Hello friends, Enzo Davis here, and I want to present to you this guitar. It's called a Harley Benton CG-400CE Thinline, and this is a black model. This guitar is a very interesting one. Supposed to be a thin-line guitar, but in my opinion is thinner than usual, but it's really not that thin. I'll tell you what I find it to be good about this guitar, and bear in mind it's just about $100 plus shipping. And I'll tell you my opinion about this instrument, okay? Given the price that you pay and given the features that you receive. So first of all, going part by part, so we have the tuners. The tuners are surprisingly good for the price point. They're very, very, especially in the treble range, they lock nicely for nylon string. That remind me of the tuners of a Golden guitar, for example, or a high-end guitar. They're not as good, but they're definitely more accurate than the tuners in the Thomann Gypsy nylon that I reviewed before. At the bass strings, it's not the same case. I don't know why, but they're still appropriate for the price point that you pay. The nut is actually a plastic nut, and it has sharp edges, but it is finished appropriately for the price point. Nothing too interesting there. The neck profile, I have to say, is very comfortable. It is thinner and flatter than a regular classic guitar. Let me tell you here, it says that the nut width is 48 millimeters. That's a little bit less than a classical, I think quite a bit less. So it's thinner, it's more comfortable if you are an electric guitar player to hold on to this. It's still thicker than what you would say for a classic Les Paul, but it's appropriate for the nylon strings, I would say. Is an easier guitar to play. It has no binding, which is something that bothers me a whole lot. No binding at all, and they painted the fretboard wood with black paint. So you don't even see the fretboard wood, which I find it to be a terrible mistake. It makes the guitar look way cheaper than it really otherwise would feel like. They say that the neck has Okume with carbon reinforcement. Okay, that's a good addition to here. They say that the finish is a matte pour finish, open pour finish, which I can corroborate. It is for the most part, but it really the finish in this guitar is it's certainly a matte finish. It's not open pour throughout. It's open pour in some sections. For example, the neck is open pour, but the front looks very flat. It has a lot of the finishing details that you would expect out of a cheap instrument. No binding whatsoever. It looks like they installed the binding and then painted over it, which is extremely annoying. I don't know why they would do something like that. It looks very ugly, in my opinion. At least the model that I received. Let me see if the one in the picture has binding. So effectively, this guitar has no binding, even in the one that they show you. The open pore finish is very visible when you look at it through the back, but the front is not very open pore-ish like. The rosette is also like laser edge, but they painted over it and it just looks, it's like a very thick coat in the front. It's not very nice. So the finish in this guitar, I would say, is really not all that great. The wood and the fretboard, I have something to say about it though, because it's something special. They say it is Blackwood Tech Bridge. That sounds like plastic to me, talking about this. And the fretboard, they say it's Blackwood. I don't know what that is at all. But it looks fine. It doesn't look bad at all. It doesn't look like it's something that's going to fall apart. It looks like wood, to be honest. It's the same wood for the bridge. I wouldn't be too worried about that, to be honest. Now, for $100, okay, one more thing. Let me tell you about this preamp. This is a Harley Benton preamp. It has a face and it has a tuner and a bass and a treble in the middle. The tuner very nicely is a color LED. I can't show you from here, but it's nice. and it's very good looking, I have to say, but it's not nearly as good sounding as that Tone Man Gypsy. That sounds much better plugged in. I have to say that the intonation in this instrument, as I was testing before, is a little bit nicer. Can you hear? It's actually surprisingly good for an instrument at this price point. Very surprisingly good. Surprisingly good for an instrument at this price point. I would say the intonation is very good, very good. The projection of this guitar when it's unplugged is nice. It has a decent warmth. It has a good tone, to be honest. Much better than you would expect. It sounds actually better and more pleasant than my Gypsy, which is almost double the price. Now, that all of that being said, when you buy this guitar, it's going to cost you roughly $160 once you get it shipped to the United States. Is this guitar worth the money and the fact that you will receive these and probably won't be able to return it unless you don't care about your money, because shipping back to Germany is very expensive, much more than what this guitar is worth. Is this worth it to buy in the United States? I think that there is other brands that offer something similar at a local price point, and you could actually even save a little bit of money. Now, is this a good value instrument that is worth $160? I would say definitely, for sure, yes. It's worth $160, which is $100 less than the Thomann nylon Gypsy that I presented earlier. Is this worth it? $160 to buy an instrument that you don't know if you're going to like it, and it's going to be impossible to return? That's a big question mark for me. I would say no. I would recommend this guitar for a beginner. However, I would not recommend this for a beginner if I don't have an additional $50 to take it to somebody that could set it up, because it came with very high action. Yeah, that's my 5 cents about this guitar. I believe if you can find one in the United States and buy it for $160, is a good buy. Very good one, especially if it's in good condition, like close to brand new. But I would not say buy it to be shipped from Germany. I don't think it's a very wise choice unless you are really in love about something, this instrument. I think these very low price instruments are more designed to be distributed in Europe, not in the United States, because of that barrier, that shipping cost barrier. Although that being said, I don't discourage you to try it if you're really interested and you have spare money. Like me, I just wanted to review this instrument, so I ordered it. just to present it to you here in the channel, but not really because I have a need for this particular one. Overall, I would say it passed the test of can you play this instrument? Will a beginner student of guitar be able to learn on this one? Yes, absolutely, yeah. One more thing to remind you is that these guitars have no truss rod, and that's a deal breaker for me as a long-term keep. Well, that's my opinion about this instrument. Definitely a very decent build for the money. The finish is flawed and not very pleasant to my taste at all. The preamp is decent. It's not great. The intonation is surprisingly good. The tuners are about what you would expect for this price point, and the projection and the tonality of this instrument acoustically is fairly pleasant, actually. For the price point is actually fairly pleasant. Not having a truss rod is a deal breaker for me, but not for other people. And I hope this review helps you if you're looking into this particular guitar. Thank you.